This is assignment 3, part B. My name is Jillian Carter. My student ID is 3333567. The following is a simulation of a 3-minute lesson for Janice, a 27-year-old pregnant woman diagnosed with anemia. The learning objective is, by the end of the teaching session, for Janice to be able to contrast two choices on a menu and to identify which one has the higher iron content. The learning objectives domain is clearly cognitive due to the keyword contrast, which indicates the analyzing category of Bloom's taxonomy in the cognitive domain. The session will start with programmed instruction, where I'd partly be teaching and partly be assessing her learning through a quiz-like format. I would most likely start by explaining to her the rationale behind her objective. This is to get Janice into an open mindset and to increase her motivation to learn. The rationale behind her objective is for her to be capable of making positive nutrition choices that treats her anemic condition, even when she's outside of her home, for example, inside a restaurant. Now, Janice must learn which foods are particularly high in iron. So to do this, I'd go over the table that I included on the resources list in Part A on the online site Dietitians of Canada. From that table, I would make a list of all the foods containing over 1.5 milligrams of iron. And while the website gives a prescription for how much iron a pregnant woman of her age should be taking in, it would be her doctor that would provide guidance in this respect. So I would ask her to consider the amount of iron that her doctor recommended she consume in a day and to relate it back to the foods that we're talking about. Now I would ask her to draw a scale from lowest to highest in iron content of these foods. So she can add pictures to her scale or whatever she needs to help her remember the foods better. It would be beneficial for her to know her learning style before the session, whether it be visual, auditory, or tactile. And to finish the 3-minute learning session, I'd apply the teaching technique drill and practice. This final step is where we would achieve the learning objective. To do so, I would give her 3 scenarios, one at a time, where 2 menu items from a particular restaurant are shown. They'd be popular restaurants in Canada. Janice would have to contrast the two and choose which one would offer her the higher iron content. For example, I will show you from the appendix. We'd have an example from Boston Pizza. We'd have an example from the Harvey's menu, and an example from Cora's breakfast menu. And she would indicate which one has the higher iron content, and I would tell her the answer, whether she got it correct or not, which we would then evaluate whether she had learned sufficient information or not afterwards.